Welcome back to Lisa's Family Table. Welcome to our COGO, not BOGO, but our Cook One, Get One series. Today, we're going to deal with salmon, and we're going to do it two ways. And this is one of my favorite ways. I mean, if you've ever bought a large piece of salmon and you're thinking to yourself, it either feels like you're wasting it or it's just not, you can't eat all of that salmon, so you maybe freeze a piece of it or do something with it. I'm going to show you how to maximize the value of this large piece of salmon. What we're going to do though, we're going to start on our rice dish first. So my first dish, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Junior G's, which is our barbecue series, Panko and Crusted salmon fillet. So out of this piece of salmon, which I paid $18.50 for, we're going to take 4 6-ish ounce pieces. We're going to do a Panko crust on them that's going to have our rusty dust. And I'm calling it Junior G's Panko because I thought rusty dust Panko didn't sound delicious. But rusty dust is delicious. So we're taking our Panko. I'm going to put some lemon zest in it. I'm going to put some fresh parsley in it. And I'm going to put some rusty dust in it. And we're going to put a little bit of Dijon mustard on top of our fillets, crust it with our Panko, and we'll sear it a little here on the stovetop and then throw it in the oven to finish. For the rice, I'm going a little bit on the Mediterranean side. I'm gonna do, I think it would be considered Mediterranean, maybe Middle Eastern. I'm doing a basmati rice that I'm going to put some saffron that I've bloomed in a little bit of hot water here. It's just sitting. It's also going to have some lemon in it. I'm going to use some curry leaves. I've never done this before, but I'm going to try it because I think it'll be super interesting. It'll also plate beautifully with the salmon. And I have a Mediterranean salad I'm going to show you. So the salmon, the rice is going to take about a total of 30 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and get it started first, the rice is. I'm pointing at the Panko, but I meant to point to the rice. Okay, so let's prep. We have a shallot. What you want to do is cut it off here. And then we want to get the skin off of it. I've got my paper from my Panko from opening that up earlier. So we're just taking the skin off. And when you get these larger shallots like this, they typically come apart in 2 pieces. So I like to trim them in 2 pieces. So get the skin off of both pieces. And this doesn't have to be an exact science. My main goal here is to teach you how not to cut yourself and to prep some of these ingredients. I'm all for making life easier when I do soups and stuff. I'm not against buying my mirepoix frozen if I'm in a hurry for a weeknight. But for this dish, even though this is an easy weeknight dish, this is also can be a very elegant dish you're having some friends over. So we're going down here and we're cutting the shallot like this. Fingers rolled in because I don't want to cut myself. I've kept the root on it so it doesn't fall apart. And then I'm going in this way. And typically you should hold your hands like this. I'm breaking the rules. And just cut. And we were just looking for these little pieces here. Okay. And I find when I do a recipe, you should read the recipe from end to end, make sure you have the ingredients. If you don't have everything, you can make decisions then on what you're going to either go get or modify it with something else. For example, if you didn't have a shallot, you could use an onion. It would be fine for this dish, no problem. You could omit the curry leaves. Let's face it, that's not an easy ingredient to get. So we've got our shallot. Some of the other flavor profiles I'm going to put is garlic. So you take the head of garlic, push it down like this. Normally it works. Try to break it apart some. I'm philosophically on the less is better garlic family. Most people think as an Italian American I should like garlic, and the reality is in Italy they eat garlic, they use it to build flavor. They don't want it coming out of their pores, right? So I think that's a misnomer, a misconception on Italian cooking. Right, so I do want some garlic, but I'm trying to build flavor, and I don't want it to be the predominant flavor profile in the dish. So I'm breaking that and throwing the other garlic in the floor. Okay, so I'm cracking the rest of this garlic, and I want to smash it some because I really do want to finely dice the garlic. Now, garlic, you can see here, this has a little piece sticking out. And I'm gonna show you, if you open it up, you wanna pull that out. It's sometimes green. You don't want that piece in. It can be a little bitter. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to slice this up, make them thin, make them small, take the little root, throw it over here. You can also use a microplane zester to cut up your garlic. That's another easy way to do it. This is a dish that's gonna have great flavor, but it won't technically keep away the vampires. Okay, so we've got that. We're gonna go ahead and turn on our stove. You can either put it in a pan and then move it to a oven safe dish. I'm using a pan that's oven safe. If you see here, it's got the stainless handle. This is an oven safe pan, so I, again, prefer to use one pan where I'm not having to dirty a bunch of things. We wanna be liberal with the olive oil here. This is really good olive oil that I bought. And we're gonna go ahead and put our aromatics in there. And you do have to be careful with garlic. If it burns, you're better to start over. It's going to ruin the whole dish. So you do want to have some caution here. I'm getting a microplane zester out. I'm going to do a couple things at a time. I'm putting some lemon zest into my breadcrumbs. There's a lot of oil in the zest. And because of that, it's got tons of flavor in it. I'm also going to use the juice of this lemon too. So I'm going to have lots of flavor going on in this dish. And my goal is to really get this rice in because the salmon is going to cook super fast, right? So I'm going to saute these aromatics for just a minute. I'm looking for them to become translucent. I'm on high. I'm going to go a little lower so I don't take the risk of burning my garlic. I wish you could smell it. It smells wonderful. And if you're really trying to cut down on carbs, I'm also going to show you the salad I'm going to present with this, so you can skip the rice entirely if carbs are something you're trying to, reduce from your diet. I've never made this with cauliflower rice. I'm not really sure how that would translate, but you can certainly give it a try. And if you do, I'd love for you to post it and tell us how it came out. I do love cauliflower rice. My basmati is going in. This is 1 cup. Now this water is in a 1 3/4 cups. And what I've done is I put it in the microwave and I brought it to a boil in the microwave. So what I'm doing here is just sauteing. I'm wanting to get a little bit of color on this, a little bit of texture, if you will, on the rice. I'm being careful to not let my garlic burn. So I'm turning my heat way down at this point. Okay, it really smells great. I'm gonna put a smidge more salt in this dish, and I'm gonna put my water, okay? I'm gonna go a little bit less. I don't know that I need all that water. So about 1.5 cups is where I'm landing on my thoughts on here, okay? I'm gonna let this come to a little bit of a boil on here, turn my heat up, and then we're going with a lid on into the oven. I'm going to give it some lemon. I'm gonna squeeze it over the top of my hand so I don't get the seeds into the rice. You can also use a zester, or a juicer, which I have, but I just don't have it right here. And that's that. And then we're going to pull out our curry leaves. And like I said, this is entirely optional. You don't have to have this. I just thought I was reading some articles on it. I thought it was kind of an interesting flavor profile, so I wanted to play with it. And I'm going to put a couple of them in. Here. I don't want to do too many because I'm not really sure. I've not cooked with them before, so this is a new thing for me. So I'm putting this on. I want the steam to be captured. I'm turning this off. I'm going in the oven. I'm already preheated. I'm at 425. Okay. Welcome back. I love a good salad. I'm known for my salads. A good friend of mine, Alia, introduced me to this cabbage salad when we were in Florida recently. And what I've done is I've just taken some green cabbage and I've shredded it finely. And I've got an English cucumber that I've cubed up, and I've got some finely diced green pepper. This is my version of it. So I'm just going to show you where I go from here. You have all probably seen me use this tool before. It's made by OXO. It's super convenient. It's a little miniature mandolin, and I like it. When I travel for a competition, I use this quite often because it just goes in here like this. I want to put some carrots. Again, this dish just screams that it needs the color, that you want to have lots of different color profiles in it. You want to have some different textures. This is definitely a healthier dish. The nice thing with this salad is you can make it in advance. It's a hearty salad, and dress it when you're ready. So I'm using the green one of this, if you get it, just like from Bed Bath & Beyond. And I'm just trying to make some little carrot pieces without cutting my hand off. Okay, stock box. And then you've got these beautiful little carrot pieces to color your salad. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside. Now you could do the onions on this. I'm gonna choose not to because I like my onions to be a little different. You could put avocado in here. I love putting avocado in my salads. This is one of those things that you make it what you want. I have a friend that does not like green peppers. So if green peppers are not your thing, don't use them. Use red. Don't use any peppers. You just want some color. And all we're gonna do with this is we're just going to put some lemon juice, olive oil, salt and pepper on it. Doing the same thing, cutting off the end. This is similar to the concept of what we talked about when we did the shallot. I think for me, I like onion. I don't want to have a lot of it. I think as I've gotten older, I'm not like particularly fond of a ton of onions and things. So if you're not a big onion person, omit it. If you like it, pick your choice. Again, this should be like, this is like a chopped salad. You want to have little, you don't want the pieces so big. You want them to be able to fit on a fork, for it to be bite-sized. Cutting it just like I did the shallot and cutting those pieces. Okay, put that in, some onion. Take the skin over here. And you can see my saffron still sitting there. I did not forget it. It's going in. It's gonna go in at the end while we let the rice rest. Okay, so that's that. I also am going to put some pitted Kalamata olives in. I like them to be cut up. I also like green olives. We eat a lot of green olives. I like a brand that has an anchovy in the middle of it. Don't judge, it's super delicious. I usually have people try them before they tell them what's in it, because as soon as they try it, they love it. I think we have a negative idea of what an anchovy is. It's super umami. It's not fishy, if it's a good one. And it is salty and briny. Set that aside. And then I want to add a little feta in this, and then that salad is pretty much ready to go. You could put some cilantro in it. Lots of different ways you could head, but this is fine for me for today because I already have so many other wonderful flavors. The feta I'm using, I use one that's in a brine. You can see here, it's in a brine, it's whole. It's so much better than the kind that's like already broken up, or it's in a dry package. It just lacks the texture, the flavor. A friend of mine, I made her a salad and she said, I don't like feta, and then she ate it and she said it was delicious. It is that much of a difference. You know, for me, cooking is not complicated. It's actually really super easy. It's really about the ingredients. If you start with good ingredients, the food's gonna taste fine. Okay. All right, so salad we're gonna set over here. Let's get started on our salmon. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I put a little bit of lemon zest in my panko just to give it that aromatic, and we're going with the rusty dust. This is the most complex of all of our seasonings. It is my personal favorite. If I had to say I had one, it's like picking a favorite child. You're gonna put it in here. It's basically got just about everything in the spice cabinet in it. It has a little sweetness to it. The exact portions are listed in the recipe. The reason I feel like that sweetness, I think it brings out the natural sweetness of the salmon, the flavor of the salmon. It's really delicious. And so we want to put a little bit of salt in here too. Not a lot, because I'm also gonna put a little bit directly on the salmon. So we're gonna set that aside. And let's talk about our salmon for a second. Let me grab my pepper grinder, because we're gonna need a little pepper. Okay, as I mentioned before, this is a large piece of salmon. If you say your family size is 4, even 6, you don't wanna waste all the salmon as you trim it up. And this comes from one of those large box companies, stores. So a couple things in dealing with the salmon. Let's talk about it for a second. First, you wanna run your hands over it. You're looking for bones, which I am feeling some bones here. Okay, so I'm gonna deal with that. It's a big bone. There we go, let's get rid of that. So you're checking for the bones, and you'll feel, you gotta run your hands back and forth. Okay, so looking at this piece of salmon, this is the belly. You're not gonna wanna cook that in the filet because it's not gonna be properly portioned. So what I normally do is I square this up. Now you'll see why I do the patties, because I also don't wanna waste this, right? So I'm putting this over here in this bowl, and I'm gonna show you how to deal with that in a second. Okay, and then I'm coming over here and I'm cutting this, I'm squaring up beautiful pieces, and there's so much left over, you're going to see that we're gonna have plenty to make these salmon patties. Okay, so I'm doing 4 portions because that's how many people we have over today. And so I'm looking for good sized portions, and I kind of want them to be uniform so you can kind of stack them up, right? And then that's our 4 portions. Now, if you have a hearty eater, you can say, I'm gonna make a 5th one. Maybe my son's home, my son could eat this whole filet. So pick what fits your family's, size and needs. All right, so I've just pulled the rice out of the oven. We're in the midst of everything. Everything's coming together perfectly. The rice is beautiful. And if you'll recall that we have the saffron over here blooming. So I'm going to pour that over and just give it that beautiful color. Don't waste any of that. And then I'm gonna let that sit. We'll finish this mixture up, put it in the refrigerator to set up. Okay, our second dish is in the fridge and setting up. And I've just got a little parsley here that I just wanna give a rough chop to. And I wanna put it in my panko. Our oven, I kept it on 425 because the salmon's gonna go in there. It's only gonna need 5 or 7 minutes in the oven. That's gonna be it. Cook the temperature that you like. I like mine a medium. That's kind of how I like my salmon. Okay, parsley in. Clean up my mess. And, okay. Swirl it around. And just to refresh our memory, we have our rusty dust in here, we have our lemon zest, we're pulling our salmon fillets out here, and we're gonna prepare them. So what we're gonna do is a little salt and pepper on them. Not a lot, because you've got seasoning in multiple places. This is just, again, building flavors. Go up high, get a little salt on it. Okay, that's done. We're gonna put some Dijon mustard on it. And what I wanna do, because I don't want to cross-contaminate the mustards, I'm gonna just take a spoon and put like a little dollop on each of them. And we'll just use our brush. And this is just gonna help the panko adhere. It's not gonna taste mustardy if you're thinking about it, or if you don't have it, you could always use olive oil. You're looking for a way for those breadcrumbs to adhere. Okay, so that's that. Now, get your pan hot, pan on, okay? Olive oil in. Lid on the floor, must do before you cook, okay? This is a fatty fish. You're gonna find, even though I'm putting all this oil, that there's gonna be a considerable amount of oil in the pan when it's done. Okay, so you're taking the panko and you're putting it on here and you're adhering it. It's okay if it falls off on the side. We're just kind of making it this way. I can't wait to plate this. It's gonna be a pretty dish. Okay, give it a press. Some of it's gonna come off. Don't stress, no big deal. Then we're going into the pan. Move them around. This is also an oven-safe pan, stainless steel handle. Okay. Here we go. I'm letting that brown a little bit while I throw these things in the sink. And what you can see is you're about 2/3 of the way up. I'm becoming opaque, that's what I'm looking for. And now I'm gonna go in the oven. These are actually kind of thin, so they may not even take the full 5 minutes. So going in, 5 minutes. If they're thicker, adjust your time accordingly. You're looking for it to be opaque throughout. Cook it to your desired temperature. I like mine medium. And I'm gonna cut some of these lemons up so we can plate them. So the salmon has got just a couple more minutes to go. We're gonna bring our rice over. We're gonna fluff it up. We're gonna give it just a small little taste and see if it needs any salt. Look at that beautiful color from the saffron. It's intended to be streaky like that. So I'm gonna do that. Set my top over here. I'm going to get a tasting spoon so I can see what we think here. It's delicious. I wouldn't change a thing about it. It really is good. It's tender, it's aromatic. I can taste the curry in it. So my little experiment in trying the curry leaves, I think it was the right amount. It's very subtle. It gives it a very delicate flavor, so I really like it. Wrapping up my salad, my cabbage salad here. You do this, you do you on this salad, whatever you like. It's gonna need some salt. Don't judge, this is actually less salt that's gonna come in a bottle dressing, I assure you. Pepper. Good slug of olive oil. And then let me grab my zester because I want to get a good amount of lemon juice in this salad. I want to kind of keep true to the flavor profiles that I'm doing here. That's it. Now I'm going to toss. The only thing I would change is I would give myself a bigger bowl. But other than that, probably would put some tomato in here too. I didn't think about that. I would probably put some tomato. But this has also got plenty. We need to add, you know, more green in our diet, more colors in our diet. And I think this definitely helps us get closer to achieving that. So let me just taste it, see how I think. Really good. Fresh, 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 fresh. Okay, salmon's coming out. I'm gonna check it. At least I think it's coming out. Wanted to put a little Parmesan on it. And I'm gonna put it back in just for a quick brown. I think it's gonna add a lot of flavor. We were doing a little vote here in the kitchen. We're like, it needed a little more. Think my piece of Parmesan is big enough? Let's vote. Okay. So that's that. We'll give it 60 seconds more in the oven. And the Parmesan also will help us get a good crust on it, so it'll be good. Let's do that. That Parmesan crust has been browned. It looks gorgeous. I think that was a great vote in the kitchen here. So we'll add that to our recipe. We've got our saffron infused rice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the rice and we're gonna put it in the center of the plate, trying not to make a mess like I just did. Maybe a little like that. And then I'm gonna pick my favorite one of these, which is this one here. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Find a way to put it on there gently. Okay. All right, so our salmon's out. We've plated it. Our rice is done, our salad is done. And Russell, you're the taste tester.
Oh, great.
So tell me what you think.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting hungry.
Me too.
Me too. I'm gonna taste this salmon.
I've already tasted
It
it.
looks
It's
delicious.
really good.
I tell you what, it looks just great.
We added some grated Parmesan on the top. Really good.
Wow.
It's fabulous. I'm just putting a little lemon juice on mine because I like lemon juice. I like lemon on everything. Oh my gosh, and it's cooked right.
That's Parmesan and Panko.
And rusty dust.
Boy, it is great. Very tasty. I think you outdid yourself here, sweetheart.
So from Lisa's family table to your table, this is our cook one, get one series. I can't wait to show you the salmon patties. They're coming up next. This is really delicious. Cook any of these, just the salmon if you want with a salad, add the rice, don't add the rice, any mixture you want. We were talking about it, you could put this just with white rice and it would still be fabulous. So from our table to yours, thank you for coming. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can get notification of our upcoming videos. We post every Thursday and you won't want to miss a single video.